In the workplace, they hate it if you go in, do your job and go home and that's it. Which you're entitled to do, by the way. Have you ever felt singled out, like they're talking about you behind your back, conspiring against you, and you're kind of being singled out because you just go in on time, do your job, and then go home because you have a life? You know, you want to get home to see your family and you have hobbies and passions outside and you're not obsessed with the company. And now you're getting that feeling of they're talking about you and you're not the one who's getting involved on the work parties and talking about people and gossiping and going into the office and nitter-nattering. Well, that was me. In my 9 to 5, and as one of my viral video states, I was the last one in and first one out. And to be honest with you, over a period of time, they were trying to get me out. They were trying to put me on a PIP. They were trying to manage me out. And when they found out I was building a company, they were also trying to get me out even quicker. And I was in a company where they were really pushy for you to try and progress. And this is totally backwards and totally wrong because they start managing people out of a company who are really good at the job that they signed up to do, and they don't like it if you just go in and do your job. So they try and get rid of you to then pay out all the expenses to bring someone new in to retrain them. Whereas actually for companies, it's much more cost efficient to actually nurture the ones who are really good at their job. But most companies actually can't see that, so it's a little bit backwards. But here's the thing, and this is the purpose of the video, right? I want you to be aware of these telltale signs that this might be happening to you. And there's a couple of options really. You can pivot and quietly quit if this starts happening to you, if you start to be singled out, and go get another job, because remember, no job is worth your mental health. It's not worth stressing about. There's always another job. Okay, no salary or pay packet is ever worth sticking in a job that treats you like rubbish, doesn't value you and doesn't respect you. That's what I've always thought, right? There's always an alternative. And number two, if you ask me, it's too easy and simplistic to start a business now from your phone and a laptop from home whilst working your full-time job to replace an average salary of £1,500 to £2,500 a month. It's too easy not to do that, especially over a sustainable period of time that you've been consistent and building on that business, right? So there are options for you, but this is the corporate world and how backwards it was. Like, if you're not involved in the gossiping, if you're not going on the work parties, they want to know more about you. I used to have it when people would come up to me from other stations when they would come to where I would work. And because I had been in my job role for quite a while and I hadn't taken any promotions, I wouldn't do overtime, I would not go for any kind of step up role, I wouldn't cover people. And for context, if this is the first time you've ever seen me, the reason why, by the way, is I now run my own businesses. I've always been very entrepreneurial and I never really wanted to remain in the system. I don't want to be assigned a life. I always wanted to design my own life. I realised the abundance of information that we have literally for free at our fingertips. So why would I not educate myself to get out of the 9 to 5 when it's too easy and simplistic? So I was just very aware of that. And I started building a business on the quiet, so I couldn't get too close to co-workers and I had boundaries. And it's really weird because boundaries in normal life are a good thing, but in the workplace, they start asking you questions. What do you do on your days off? And I was that guy that was like, you know, just get up to my own thing with my family. And they kept prying. You know, over time, it was like, well, what do you do? Where are you going? Are you coming out on the works do? Why not? Why are you not getting involved in the politics? And then you're the one that they talk about. So it really highlighted the fact that this is incredibly toxic. It's so backstabby, I want no part of it. And I can only think, if you're talking about that person to me, what do you say behind my back? And I was aware of this. Even on my breaks, I just used to take them on my own and work on my own business. I used to like take my laptop and then I would open up my laptop and just like be grinding away on my own stuff. And it's incredibly like intoxicating, this whole work family, you know, you've got to be obsessed with the job. And I found like there was a common theme, right? With these people who want you to be obsessed with the job is that they don't typically have children. And if they do, I think that's backwards because as a father myself, when you have a child, you get what I call true perspective of life. So really it becomes about, okay, how can I now create a life where I get to spend time with the one person or however many children you have, how can I spend time with them all the time and create this abundance of freedom and financial security? That's what I thought, right? Isn't that what every parent wants? I didn't want to go and befriend everyone in the workplace. And I don't want to be this generic number of, well, we spend more time with our work colleagues than we do at home. Yeah, I was trying to flip that on its head, which I've now done at 32, is I spend more time with my family than I do work. My actual businesses, right, which is great. But they don't like it. Even in the job interviews, if you look at job interviews, they ask you questions such as, what are you going to bring to the table? Can you do the job? Why are you going to be good for us? Do you have any outside hobbies? Do you have any outside business interests? Do you have any current side hustles? It's like, whoa, hang on a minute. I'm coming here for a job, but are you trying to suppress my entire life? Like, what business of yours is it what I do outside of work? Which brings me on to the next thing. You should not be accepting co-workers on social media. This is a boundary that should not be crossed. Your supervisor, your co-workers, your managers should not be seeing what you get up to in your personal life. That is a boundary. Remember, you are in the workplace because you are forced to go there. So it's a situational relationship to make money, to feed your family and keep a roof over their heads. You didn't go to work because you chose to be with these random people that you would never normally spend time with, other than the fact that you have to be there and you've been told to be there and you've been told to work with these co-workers because you need the job. And as soon as that boundary is crossed, they can pry, they can question what you're doing. If you have a day off or you do pull a sickie, they will be monitoring you left, right and centre. They can just check up on you at any given moment. And as soon as you accept that social media friend request and then you decide to take it back and block them, they will be questioning you the day after. And most of you have openly said to me, Aaron, what do I do when they come up to me and question that I've blocked them? That's what you're going to have to deal with. Although if it was me, you want my honest answer, I'd just tell them, yeah, I blocked you. Because you're prying and it's weird. So that's another boundary. It's just absolutely insane to me how people get so easily manipulated into the 9-to-5 corporate world, office, politics and dramas. And it's like a soap. And I'm sure many of you can agree, it's draining. Like the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, did a survey where 291 million people were clinically diagnosed with depression because of mental stress, of all different reasons, by the way, in the workplace. And why? Because they got too involved. That's where the bullying starts happening. That's when the harassment, that's when, the office politics and the backstabbing and the throwing each other under a bus and the competitions for promotion happens. I mean, it's just mad, right? And I don't know why people are so weak. And I do use the word weak because I think it requires a certain amount of self-mastery to take a step back and go, right, I'm here to earn money. Yes, I want the time to go by, which I totally get. I did a 10-hour shift, so I do want the time to go by. So in order to do that, let's have some fun to what we can. I'm going to have good banter. I'm going to get on with people. I'm going to be polite. But that's the boundary. And when people feel that they can overstep it, that's when liberties are taken. Oh, you're not doing overtime. Why not? Because they're doing overtime. Like one thing I used to get pulled up on all the time, I literally used to be there on time and I would leave. I would be at the clock out machine 5 minutes. You could be there 5 minutes before you could clock out. That's when your shift could actually end, just 5 minutes before. And I could actually clock out without it causing an issue on my card 5 minutes before my finish time, right? And I'd be there waiting. And co-workers would say to me, where are you going? They got used to it, right? And they got over it. But then I was very much singled out for it. I didn't care, by the way. They would go, where are you going? I'm going home. Yeah, but we've still got so much to do. The reports haven't been finished. Right, okay, there's another shift coming on. Yeah, but we can't leave it for them. No, that's exactly what we can do. This is a 24-hour operation, Sherlock, right? We can pass it on. I'm going home to my family. And they would be almost bedazzled by the fact that they're going, bamboozled, should I use that word? That I'm going home. Yeah, I'm going home to my family. But then I would look at them and I think, well, you live on your own, you don't have any kids and you don't have any loved ones. I get why this has now become your obsession, but it's not mine because I have perspective. I want to make memories and I want to live life. And by the way, I'm building a business, you just don't know it. I'm trying to get out of here. They don't get it because they become so obsessed. I had this guy come up to me from another station once and he said, he was higher up and I knew he was coming down. And he came up to me and he said, He was on our shift and he went, so Aaron, I've heard you've been here for X amount of years and you're in the same position. I thought, I know where this is going. I went, yeah. And he went, oh, right. Have you got no plans to move on? And I went, no. Happy doing what I'm doing, which is fine. Should be fine, but they hate it. Oh, right, okay. And off he went. And then my general manager, a week later, come onto my shift to spend a week with us to watch what we were doing. Ironic. What's going on here? And then several weeks later, Aaron was invited for a performance review. And I was sat down with this little manager of mine. She was a new one, another graduate manager. And she said, right, Aaron, so, you've been here for this long. We think you're slightly underperforming. We're going to need to make a performance, do a performance review and then put some form of a plan together over the next sort of 6-7 weeks, just to make sure that we can up your level in what you're doing and responsibilities and stuff. And I thought, I know where this is going. But I was always able to meet the bar of what needed to be done so they couldn't go any further with it. I was very good at playing the game, the political corporate game, right? I found it very easy and I had money in the bank. Like, I'd cash flowed very well. I've been very smart with my money for over a decade, more than a decade. So I was like, whatever. I was ready to leave at that point anyway by the time this conversation had come up. But the point is, how mad is it that they will be on your back, especially now with companies integrating like a lot of tech and AI, and they either want you to add so much value to the company, otherwise they have no use for you. Despite the fact that someone like myself, and maybe you watching, I could run my entire site on my own if there were no managers there or senior leadership, and I just had my team with me. I could run the entire show. And some of my old work colleagues would back that up and say exactly the same about themselves. So it's weird, rather than nurturing me as a great employee, they would rather force me and push me to overcommit to things I don't want to do. And they even set up little traps like, Aaron, do you want to do this step up? Nope. You want me to do extra work for no extra pay. You want to put me as middle management so you can basically lean on me when it all goes... I can't say the word because I'm trying not to affect the YouTube algorithm. I'm not swearing. But when it all goes wrong, you want to point the blame. When there's a success, you want to take the victory. I don't think so. Aaron is smarter than that. Aaron is actually building a business, you just don't know about it. So they were always on my case, and honestly, they hated the fact that I didn't go above and beyond. Also, I worked smart, not hard. I leveraged and I pulled levers with the team members that I was working with. They didn't like that I was very competent in thinking outside the box. So I would call the shots in terms of making senior decisions without asking senior leaders, because I knew it was the right decision and I had the balls to call the decision, because senior leaders would, like politicians, they would talk about it and pivot and never actually get to the actual answer. So I would make a decision and then it would get pulled up with me. I didn't mind doing that. Again, I was never fearing for my job, which is going to be one of my next videos. Do not fear for your job. But my God, they were on my case all the time. And if you're going through this, honestly, again, my advice is you'll only be able to stay under the radar for so long. A lot of companies are pushing employees to move up the ladder, and they see it as if you're not adding loads of value, they'll just get rid of you and bring in another monkey. I would say quietly quit and job hopping is a good thing. I've spoken about that before. The day and age that we're in now, you need to move fast, develop quick, and keep growing. Or you start your own business, because then you have none of this. Like, oh my gosh, I don't deal with bad co-workers. I don't have any manager above me. I mean, I am the boss. My team is incredibly happy. It's all about flexibility and freedom with my team. Respect, value, compassion, empathy, everything that most corporate places lack. Freedom of speech without consequence is really important to me. And if someone's happy just doing that job and they don't want to progress, fine, we're all good with that. So that's what I'm about now. And yeah, I don't have any of this drama, which is why I do really encourage you to learn about business. And at the end of this video, I'll even give you my full course free tutorial on how to quit your job and build an online business. It's insane. Don't take my word for it. Grab a pen and a paper. It's over 90 minutes long. It will be at the end of this video. In fact, Joe, my editor, will just pop up a very small thumbnail just in front of my face right now. This is the video that will change your life. I'm not joking, I'm being deadly serious, and it's all for free, by the way. It'll be at the end of this video. Just explore entrepreneurship. Honestly, we are in a day and age where we have this luxury of learning how to build a business, avoiding all this drama. Think about it. No manager on your back, no having to call up late and have a punishment, no more being asked to do overtime, and if you don't do it, there's a repercussion and you're not a team player. I got asked to do overtime all the time every year at Christmas. Aaron, can you do overtime? No. Why not? Because I want to spend it with my family. Right, well, it's not helping the team. No, but I'm here to fulfill my contractual role, which I've done. I turn up on time, I leave on time, and all of you have got a problem with it. I mean, it's bonkers. Truly, it's bonkers. Think about it, all the anxiety, the depression, the toll that it takes on your health, not just now, but in 5 years' time, and then you remain in another 5 years, and then you hit that midlife crisis and you're like, I'm 40 or I'm 45 and I'm 50 and I've been serving an employer my entire life, and now my runway of life is even shorter to make the change. It's never too late to make the change, by the way, but the runway becomes shorter. Why would you want to build someone else's dreams? Like, really think about it. We can all have financial freedom. Like, everyone could, to some degree. If you live within your means and you just learn to generate passive income through a service, a product, a hobby, a passion, your knowledge, experiences, through a personal brand, a business, whatever it might be. It's so possible, and so many of you are blind to the fact that you can change your life. Like, forget about all these like 10-minute videos on YouTube about 10K a month and, you know, all this like kind of Iman Guardsy stuff, which, you know, some of it's okay, but a lot of it's very gimmicky, you know, like 10 minutes telling you how to start up a business and earn thousands of pounds a month. Like, no, it's not like that. Like, there's reality behind starting a business. It's tough. It takes time, patience, discipline, you name it, and the rest. Constantly tired, early mornings, late nights, and everything else. But it's so possible if you're committed. And what's the other option anyway? If you don't try and take some risks, you risk everything anyway. And if you don't try and succeed or fail, well, you've still got to go and do 45, 50 years for someone else anyway. So why don't you take a little bit of a risk on yourself? Cut out all the negativity around you, especially co-workers. If you want to change your life, I promise you now, the conversations you need to have are not with co-workers who are earning to the tune of 27, 28, 30,000 pounds a year. You need to get around some entrepreneurs, some business owners, people who are going places, like, you know, sprinters. You know, if you're running a 100-meter race, you don't want to run against someone who's happy to walk around a park, a bit overweight. You want to run against an athlete who does 100 meters as a living, because they're going to pull you to a new level. They hate it if you do your job and go home. I'm living and breathing it, and I'm sure you are too. I really hope you make a decision that is right for you and your family. Without purpose, you'll seek negative pleasure. And without taking any risks, you risk everything. And remember, at the end of this video, that one video, that full course tutorial will change your life. I do not say that lightly. Pen, paper, no distractions, headphones in, stick with it. It's for free. Listen, learn, but most importantly, apply. I hope this video has helped. Another raw video. Peace out, everyone. Let me know your best takeaways in the comments. I much appreciate it. Hit the like button if you wouldn't mind, and I'll see you on the next video.